Tough game. Second quarter was the killer. And so we got to look for more consistency throughout the game. That quarter hurt us badly, defensively, offensively. There were a lot of points off turnovers. There were a lot of second chance points, points in the paint, and got to work at doing better.
You said the word consistency in there. I feel like after a lot of games you guys have mentioned trying to put together a full 48-minute game. Why do you feel like that hasn't happened in a while?
It's a tough league. Teams are very good. We've been playing good teams virtually every night. And so, it's some of it's just competition. It's difficult to put together 4 great quarters. In our situation, we're still down a couple guys and still have guys that are coming, back into it, getting their legs and all that. Those are obvious reasons. Execution's got to be better. Simple as that. We had some errors tonight that certainly were within our control that we didn't do well with, and I think we can do better there.
What led you away from Jarris Walker minutes in the second half?
Coach's decision. Yeah.
What you mentioned the turnovers and the offensive rebounds. I think you guys, I think you only gave it away 3 times in the second half. I think you only allowed them 3 offensive rebounds after giving. I think.
Well, I think that makes my point.
Yeah, I know. What got better is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
On both of those down.
Our attention to detail got better. It's something we talked about at halftime. Perhaps some of it is adjusting to their style of play, their physicality, their athleticism, those kinds of things. Stayed out of harm's way better. Don't know exactly. I haven't watched the game yet.
You talked just at length about what makes this a tough team, and certainly their guards seem like they were able to get to the paint a lot. Just what makes them as tough of covers, especially when you got to deal with as many of them as they have when they've got Castle and Fox and Harper and all those guys that are that good off the dribble.
Yeah, they got Castle, Harper, and Fox, and all those guys, and they're physical. They attack you. They run. They take advantage of mistakes very quickly. That happened to us a lot in the second quarter. Cornette's is a big factor, and Olenek played very well too. They played well. I mean, some of their depth guys, Waters came in and hit a couple of threes. They had good contributions. And Bryant came in. He didn't make outside shots, but he retrieved second chance opportunities for them a couple times, particularly I think in the second quarter, and those were killers. So, a lot of this comes down to details, and I think our guys understand that it's a game of details. We've just got to stay in this. We've got to keep working together and do better.
Tough night for Ben Mathurin, obviously, with the foul trouble. What do you see in him, like, I guess, just sort of work through as he's trying to get some foundation and get – certainly you guys need more consistency collectively, but it seems like it's been tough for him to string a couple together. What have you just seen him –
What do you mean string a couple together? What does that mean?
String a couple strong performances together. It seems like he's had some good nights and some rough ones.
Well, teams are putting their better defenders on him. Him, Pascal, and Drew, they see it every night. Look, this is the opportunity of a lifetime for Ben Mathurin. He's starting on a team. He's second on the team in minutes played at, I think, 33 a game. And there's great opportunity here. And we have to work at helping him adjust to this level of responsibility. This is a lot. Especially, you take guys like Tyrese and Obi out of the mix, who, certainly Tyrese is not underrated in our system. I think Obi is a little bit in our system. It's work. It's work. You don't just show up and, you're just going to get your numbers every night. I mean, teams are ultra prepared. Everybody's got the same detailed information, and it's tough. But when game's tough, ain't gonna be long. It's less than 48 hours. We're gonna be throwing it up again down in Orlando.
We talked in pregame about Micah Potter and what you've got out of him. You get 16 and 6 and started him tonight. Just what did you like from him on both ends?
He's a very solid player, and he's done a lot of good things, and he knows his game. He's learned our system very quickly, and he's just, I think solid is the word.
Cam Jones, you put him in early in the third quarter. What did you think of his performance in the second half?
Well, as I keep looking at it, when he goes in games, good things happen, and so that's something that I got to consider. He had a rough start to the season, missing basically 2 months. He's worked his way back into a level of conditioning with a couple of G League games, and he's doing things on his own and in practices when we have practices. I see good things. I see good things. I like his spirit. I like his energy. He sees the game. He thinks the game well, and he's been very well coached in college by Shaka.
Yeah, I mean, they do a great job giving me things to work with, right? They've simplified things a little bit for me, and the nice thing is a lot of the things in the NBA, actions, offenses, defenses, whatever, there's a lot of similarities between teams. It's just sometimes it's different terminology. But basketball is basketball, right? Especially in this league, you want to play fast, create, with pace and space, right? And I know with us, that's our bread and butter offensively, pace and space. So just try to do my job as best I can, create for my teammates, whether that's passing, shooting open shots, like setting good screens, anything like that. Just try to create open space for my teammates and play off of that.
You've only been here for 5 games so far, but a lot of your teammates, Rick, have talked about putting together a full 48-minute game being something that hasn't happened. What do you feel like is preventing that from being the case for you guys?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's something we're trying to figure out. I think it's so hard. I mean, you guys would know this answer better than me. Like the amount of different people we've had come in and out, like that. Being in the G League, that's like what you experience most of the time. Whether it's 2 ways, assignment guys getting called up, whatever. There's no continuity, and it's tough to develop chemistry with that kind of a thing. Injuries too. I mean, we've been decimated by injuries, obviously. So it's one of those things where it's like, hopefully now that we're starting to get back healthy somewhat, we can continue to develop some chemistry. And I think part of that is just, getting off of this rut. Like as competitors in the game of basketball, we all want to win, right? So when you're in this losing streak, you kind of find yourself in this rut. We got to find ways to find joy, outside of winning. And that's the nice thing with me is like my joy doesn't come from basketball. My joy comes from my relationship with Jesus, and that's the most important thing in my life. I'm so thankful for that, right? Because when you're in a rut like this, it's so easy, I should say, to get down on yourself and sometimes blame a teammate or whatever. So trying to find ways to bring joy. That's why I try to get the crowd into it, try to change some momentum, encourage our guys, try to get them, set a good screen for them so they can get an open look, so they can kind of find their rhythm back, all those kinds of things. But it's going to take time. We're so close. Like you said, it's like the second quarter. It's like a little stint there where we let the Spurs go on a run. But other than that, I think we won the game outside the second quarter. So I might be wrong on that. But anyways, it's one of those things where we, keep chipping away and try to find a way to win.
The math was correct. You joined the 6 losses in a row in and 5 since. What, when you got here, did you sense mentality-wise from the group about the rut they were in and how to get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell. And I mean, it's a blessing to play in this league. And, every single day I try to cherish it, right? Because I was out of the league, right, to start the year. And I'm not saying by any means that any of my teammates feel like they're taking advantage of it or whatever, or they're not taking advantage of it. But as competitors, like I said, it's sometimes you can find yourself in a rut. So continuing to get healthy is a huge thing, and then get reps together on the floor, that's another big thing. Building that chemistry and trying to find that joy in the game again. We play a game for a living. Like, that's a blessing. And so trying to find that joy, trying to find that camaraderie, and try to find that competitiveness for a full 48 minutes. Mistakes are going to happen, but pick each other up, move on to the next play, and continue to play hard. Just try to get back to that mindset.
Kind of along those lines. I mean, Rick talked after the last game. After that, that he thought things got a lot better in the second half. You guys go from giving up 9 offensive rebounds, 16 second chance points in the first half of this one, cut that down to 3 boards in the second. I think turnovers went from 11 to 3. What have you seen get better in second halves? Basically, how have you seen some signs of corrective measures?
Yeah.
I guess?
Well, I mean, it's our job to make adjustments, right? If we can't make adjustments, we shouldn't be here. So that's part of it. It's kudos to the coaching staff, calling things out, seeing things on film, whatever. But again, it's just a collective. We have to come together as a collective unit to just realize, coaches will point things out on film, right? We have to come together as a collective unit to correct those things. So again, we're not going to be perfect. Mistakes are going to happen. I know I had 3 turnovers, I think, today. 2 of them were kind of like miscommunication. That's a chemistry thing, so that's going to happen. But just when people make mistakes, like learn to move on and then just band together. When things get tough, someone makes a mistake, we can't separate. We got to continue to get closer. And I think we've done a really good job of doing that since I've been here. We've gotten a lot better. So I don't know. There's a lot of things we can fix, but we're moving in the right direction, and we just got to find a way to play a full 48.
What would it mean to you personally to knock down a couple threes, and how important can that be to you as far as being able to help space and being able to help a lot of other things within this offense work?
Yeah, I mean, I take pride in my ability as a shooter. There's a lot of things that, like I said, pace and space. So having a 5-man that can space the floor, or a 4-man, whatever position they put me in, being able to space the floor creates so much opportunities for my teammates. And so that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to play winning basketball, and whether that's shooting the ball, laying it up, setting good screens, passing, playing defense, whatever, communicating. Anything I can do to help this team win is what I'm here to do. And so I'm definitely glad I'm hitting shots. It's something I take pride in, but there's a lot of other things I can do to impact the game.
Kind of a shot in the dark question going back to, I guess, his first one. How much did that experience you had with Team USA Select prepare you for something like this?
That was the hands down coolest thing I've ever done in my life. I had no idea it was going to happen until my agent called me out of the blue. And so going into that kind of an environment, Kevin Durant said it's the greatest team he's ever played on. And so with that, you could argue it's the greatest team ever assembled, which is incredible. I mean, look at the names, good on the list. It's incredible. And so being in that kind of an environment, you see how those kinds of guys prepare, right? And you see how they approach the game mentally and physically. And it's one of those things where you go into that environment, and then I ended up playing, which was nuts too, getting on the floor with all of them. And you just you learn to gain confidence, right? And you also realize these are the greatest players in the world, but they're also human, right? I think as I'm a fan of basketball, I watch it all the time. Growing up, I was a fan of basketball. But when you're with these people, you start to realize that they are human too. They laugh, they crack jokes, they make mistakes, they have families, whatever. And so they are the best people in the world at what they do, which is why they're famous, right? But it's one of those things where when you're in that environment, you learn to kind of the confidence it gave me was I belong, right? I'm not saying I'm going to be a Kevin Durant, a LeBron James, a Tyrese Halliburton, a Steph Curry. I'm not going to be those guys, but I can help those guys. I can find a role to create for those guys, whether I'm scoring or not. And that was the thing that gave me the most confidence. And I also hit a couple shots, which was really cool too. But that was the biggest thing I got, was a confidence boost. I know that I'm not these people. I'm not as talented as these guys or gifted as these guys, but I'm very good at being able to create for those kind of people. And in the NBA, you've got 1 or 2, maybe 3 stars on a team. The rest are role players. So I can play a role and play it to the highest of my ability and help a team win.
All good?
Sure.
First time, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm curious, since joining this team, what's impressed you about Pascal as a leader and as a teammate? What impact have you felt he's had on you?
Pascal there are some things that he does, I'm just wow, right? So it's one of the effort offensively, getting to the rim, finishing over. Some of the finishes he has are just ridiculous. Whether it's over length or using his strength and physicality on a smaller defender, both hands, all that kind of stuff. The biggest thing is that I've noticed is whenever we coming out of timeouts, he's always vocal, right? So that's something that I think is huge for one of the leaders of this team, is being vocal and trying to encourage guys let's go, kind of keep the energy up. So that's been fun to be a part of. And for me too, obviously I'm brand new, right? And so we've been able to have a really good dialogue back and forth of figuring things out, right? There's a couple things today we want to switch. We end up not switching, but there was a last second. It's a chemistry thing, right? And immediately right after, we're both talking to each other how to figure it out. And for me, that's huge as I'm trying to get adjusted to the team and being with this team, and it's super helpful for me. So that's the biggest thing is being vocal with me, trying to help me figure things out and get adjusted, and with him, chemistry with him, like whether it's a one more pass or switching coverage different coverages defensively, different things like that has been super helpful.
Hard to really pinpoint it. I think it's just, in the one quarter of the games that we've lost, it's just that have really hurt us, whether that be concentration or, just matching up in transition, and because we're right there, and then kind of just, I don't know, maybe lose focus, and that quarter ends up costing us because the rest of the game we're right there.
Feels like in a lot of games it's something different, right? Rebounding in Houston, turnovers in Miami, tonight the possession battle again that is costing you some of these games. Do you attribute focus to that it is sliding around what the issue may be against any given opponent?
Yeah, I mean, the turnovers thing, with turnovers, if you have a good spirit about you and you're trying to make someone else better, I feel like you can live with those turnovers. I think it's the turnovers where they get out and get an easy transition, and there's nothing we can really do about that. We got to clean those up.
Have these last couple games where you guys have had much more back, Shepard just returned, Nesmith is now back, how much different or more like last year, obviously sans Tyrese Halliburton, do things feel right now?
Yeah, I mean, as guys are continuing to get healthy, it's starting to feel more back to normal the more we do get healthy. But to see guys like Cam and all the young guys get some opportunity and go take advantage of it is something that it's pretty cool to see. But in terms of getting guys back that were with us last year, and Shep and Aaron Nesmith and those guys, having them back is, obviously we haven't won, but it's felt a little bit more normal.
Rick, I want to get your take on this. Rick said after the last game, after the Orlando loss, he said he was seeing too much petty nonsense up through the first half, and he felt like you guys cut down on that in the second half and were more connected. I guess and then we asked Aaron and Andrew about that, and they said they kind of felt like a lot of that, what he was talking about was mostly stuff that was coming from a good place of guys wanting to win, but just somebody saying I should get the ball more or this shouldn't have been a foul. What's been your view on that? I guess are you seeing guys getting caught up in personal agendas, or is that not what's happening? I mean, like, what do you think Rick's seeing basically, and what does it look like to you?
To me, I think it's just basic competition, heat of the moment type stuff. All in good spirit, just us trying to win, and I think there's no ill will in any of the back and forth. I certainly haven't seen any stuff that jumps off the page where I'd be like, well, we need to get this addressed right now. I mean, throughout a 48-minute game, tensions are high and there's competitive guys out there and we all want to win. So, it's just people just trying to be competitive and get a win.
What is the struggle, I guess, to keep guys connected? I mean, that's been so much your superpower over the last few years in terms of what all you guys accomplished was staying close, staying connected, having good chemistry. I mean, just what's the challenge like of doing that when you're in the midst of something like this? And what have you guys done well, and what have you struggled with as far as maintaining or trying to keep that level of chemistry?
I mean, I feel like the coaching staff has been amazing and keeping our spirits high. Obviously. We'd like to have won more games, but, as, guys go down, obviously there's new guys here. So I think in terms of chemistry, it's tough. But, when we're dealt that, no one's feeling sorry for us. We have to just have the next man up. And when people's numbers have been called, they've responded. So I know the wins aren't there, but I feel like our chemistry is still a superpower of ours.
What impressed you about Micah Potter? And you guys have had to cycle in so many of these different guys. What's impressed you about what he's done in that role so far, and especially what he did today.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten here. He's been a positive light for our group, and he's played well. Tip of your cap to him. He's come in. He's had to learn our defensive coverages, our offense, and the way we play. And he's hit the ground running, and really happy for the guy coming in here and playing the way he has been.
Your rookie year team lost a lot of games to start that season. I can't remember the exact number. As you guys hit 11 in a row, what did you learn from that you feel like is the right attitude a team that needs to have in this situation? Do you feel like you see that with your teammates in there?
Did you ask how many games we lost my rookie year?
No, I know it's 72. I meant in a row to start it. It's 19?
Yeah, I think 17.
17?
Maybe. Tough year that year. But, you know, we had a bunch of young guys that were fighting for roster spots, and just the competitive spirit about us that year, I think is something that we hung our hat on. And, you know, I see that this year. You know, we've kind of gotten unlucky here and there, but we've had some tough losses. But in terms of being right there, you know, our competitive spirit is right there, and we just have had the ball bounce a different way a few times.